Once you start dreaming about a rich aunt leaving you millions, when winning the lottery becomes a must because you're simply unable to pay all your creditors at the end of the month, you're likely to be over-indebted. If you fear answering your phone because it might be a call from a creditor, you borrow on a regular basis from microlenders, or you already have garnishee orders against your salary and you use your credit card to buy food and pay other debts, then you know you're in financial trouble and you need to act immediately. Your ability to pay back your debt makes up a major part of your credit profile. Your credit profile is your financial reputation on paper and is the history of your spending and payment habits. Credit providers use credit reports they access through the credit bureau to decide whether they'll loan you money and even what interest rates they'll offer. Businesses can also purchase reports to help them make decisions, such as renting you a place or giving you a cell phone contract. If your financial situation gets so out of hand that you stop making monthly repayments altogether, you will be blacklisted at the credit bureau. This is when creditors and attorneys list the debts you have defaulted on and the judgments that have been obtained against you for not paying your debt. You'll then be unable to qualify for credit due to these negative listings on your credit profile. It is vital that you don't leave your financial situation to deteriorate this badly before seeking financial assistance. The most important thing is to start the process of getting out of debt voluntarily before you get into a situation where you have no choice and the courts take over. The first step is to get a credit report from a credit bureau. You need to be honest about your situation and get all the information you need to make an informed decision. Your credit report will show your credit history, how you repay your accounts, and the status of your credit account. Remember, you can access a free credit record once a year at one of the registered credit bureaus. Do an honest budget and, where possible, reduce your expenses to deal with the debt yourself. Communicate with your creditors and negotiate new payment terms. You can also contact the National Debt Mediation Association for help. They'll mediate between your credit providers and debt collectors. Mediation is cheaper and quicker and doesn't involve the courts. But you must stick to the arrangements made. Act early and don't ignore the problem. This is important because if creditors start taking legal action against you, it becomes too late for options such as debt counseling. Face reality. If things cannot be salvaged through voluntary arrangements, you need to come to terms with the fact that your situation going forward will likely include some sort of legal process, and you have the following options. Debt counseling is where a debt counsellor registered at the National Credit Regulator assesses your situation and certifies whether you are indeed over-indebted. The counsellor then issues a certificate that confirms your over-indebtedness and works on a payment plan that is submitted to all your creditors. If all your creditors agree, a magistrate then confirms the agreement and grants a consent order. If your creditors disagree, they can oppose the debt counselling application. The good news is that while you're under debt counselling, your creditors are unable to take legal action against you and you can't be blacklisted. Remember though, debt counselling is not free. Interest will still accumulate on your debt. It might be a lengthy process and you'll not be able to access credit while under counselling, as your name will be listed on the credit bureau as being under debt review. Once all your debt's been repaid, the credit bureau will be instructed to remove the note from your credit record. Be very sure that you understand the process and all the implications before applying for debt counselling. You can also consider debt consolidation as a voluntary arrangement. This is where you combine all your payments into one single monthly obligation. Beware that it can be an expensive option if you cannot secure a good interest rate, and it may take longer to pay off all your debt, especially if the repayment term is very long. The other options available to you is to go under administration or voluntary and forced sequestration. Make sure that you understand clearly what all the options are available to you, whether the option is voluntary or forced, if it will get noted on your credit score, and how it will affect your ability to get more credit, what the costs associated with the options are, how long it will take, and whether you'll have to sell your house or any of your assets. Know your rights. Even if you're in financial trouble, it doesn't mean that you do not still have rights, and the National Credit Act is there to protect you as a consumer. It makes provisions for you to apply for debt counselling, protects you against reckless lending, and it regulates credit providers, debt counsellors, and the credit bureau. You can contact them for help. Remember that a credit provider and debt collector cannot take your ID, your debit or credit card, your ATM card or PIN, or your pension card under any circumstances. Only a sheriff or deputy sheriff can serve or execute court orders and judgments, and they must carry a valid identification card. You have the right to refuse handing over your goods to debt collectors, tracers, representatives, and agents, even if they present you with a court order. It is illegal for an employment agency or prospective employer to conduct a credit check on you if you apply for a position that does not require trust and honesty and does not involve the handling of cash or finances. When faced with a garnishee order, you have the right to dispute the amount if it seems incorrect. You can apply to a court to reduce the amount if you're unable to meet your maintenance costs, and you must be given regular statements free of charge. So remember, if you're over-indebted after deducting living expenses from your net salary and you still don't have enough cash left over to pay the installments on your total debt, you may apply for debt counselling. Debt counselling is a formal legal process that provides for a consumer to be declared over-indebted and for the debt counsellor to negotiate a restructured payment plan and obtain a court order confirming the new repayment plan with creditors.